Good morning, everybody. Just doing a video, a quick one here on being attractive and dating. There's a lot of self-help books out there about it, a lot of advice people give you. So I just want to do a video on this because there's a lot of misinformation out there about it. And it really is quite simple to be attractive and to attract people. And we like to make it complicated because that's what, as humans, we like to do that. So it's real simple. If you want to be attractive, attract people, be good at meeting your needs. Okay. If you're good at meeting your needs, it means you can meet other people's needs. And that's what we look for in mates, whether it's like physical attraction. We look for people who can move around because moving is a human need, mobility, who are being healthy, free of pain and disease. So that's why we look for physical attraction. Clothes and dress, you'll hear a lot of self-help books talk about this and that. With dressing well means you can obtain clothing and shoes. It means you have resources, access to resources. That's the reason a lot of women look for the men who have money, because it means that they will have access to resources, food, shelter, clothing for their children. Okay. It don't mean they're gold diggers. It means they want you to be able to help meet needs. Okay. A lot of guys nowadays cannot meet needs. They can't even like comb their hair and groom themselves, which is a human need. So if you're not able to do that, how are you going to feed their kids and their babies, your kids and babies? Like, how are we going to take care of our kids? How are we going to take care of each other when we're sick? Okay. So this is where like a lot of guys are getting angry and whatnot about women not being attracted, and the same back and forth, women and women, men, whatever. We aren't taking care of ourselves because we're not good at meeting our needs. And so we are getting bitter and blaming other people for it instead of being like, oh, okay, I need to actually figure this out. Okay. So our physiological needs is one step of it, but we can meet those needs with money. Okay. But we cannot meet psychological needs with money. So we have to be good at getting a certain amount of money. Don't need a lot of money. Over $100,000 a year has been shown to not improve happiness or well-being. Quite the opposite, actually. And the reason for that is because people start relying on money, thinking that that will meet their other needs. But you cannot use money to meet your needs for emotional connection and intimacy and love and belonging. When people start to use that money to try to meet those needs, then they start getting paranoid about people wanting them for their money, right? And all they want is somebody to love them. We want somebody to care about us. We all have that as a human need. However, if you have a lot of money and other people are trying to meet their physiological needs and you don't want to work towards meeting those needs for them, well, then yeah, they're going to be gold diggers. They're going to want to take your money because they want their needs met too. It's human nature, right? So it's the same reason you want money, same reason we all want it, is so we can meet our physiological needs. But there's a certain point where money becomes useless. If you've met your physiological needs, you don't have any other use for it, right? So, except to meet other people's physiological needs. So if you are struggling with having a conversations with people, with emotional intelligence, with empathy, go take some classes. They have speech classes you can take where you get better at talking to people, and like public speaking. If you can do public speaking, you can talk to anybody, right? Because public speaking is one of the most terrifying things ever. But go do it so you get good at it, and then go to therapy or do the things you need to do to develop your empathy and emotional intelligence. Do some self-reflecting, do some journaling, get to know yourself so that you know who you are, what you like and don't like, and toss those self-help books out because they're all telling you to act like a bad boy or act confident when you're not, or do this or that. They're essentially telling you to not be authentic. And I tell you right now, you're going to have the hardest time with relationships if you're not authentic. I've met people who act one way at first and they're a completely different person. You get to know them, or you're dating them or in a relationship with them, and then their true self comes out. And I'm sure, you guys are all like, oh, yeah, we've all been there. Because when who they really are comes out and you get to know their authentic self, it's not very fun because they don't know themselves well. So it turns out to be kind of a mess. And this is why our divorce rates are so high and all this other stuff, because we can't maintain relationships right now because we don't have any collective thinking. We don't have empathy. We don't care. We're not good at meeting our needs for um, physical needs, but especially the psychological needs. And we see that in our poor mental health right now. The mental illness in our country, in the US here especially, is terrible because we cannot emotionally validate somebody when they're having emotions. We're like, nah, just don't feel that way. Just be happy, okay? Just like that positive, toxic positivity. And because we would do that because we can't touch emotions. We're like, no, 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 no. I don't know even what you're doing. Why are you crying right now? Like, humans cry, like we do, but if we don't have the ability to meet that emotional need, go work on it. Because if you can't do that, you aren't going to be able to have a relationship with somebody when it gets to that level of emotional connection. And if you're not able to meet people's emotional needs and love and belonging, you might get to like the second, third date. I mean, you might even get married if you're there with like another person who's good at meeting your emotional needs and things. But if they are always meeting your emotional needs and taking that burden, and you're not reciprocating, then they need other people in their life to be able to do that. So that might work. But if they're relying on you for emotional needs and psychological needs, and you're not meeting them, it'll never work, right? So I'll do another video or other videos on relationships and stuff. But I just wanted to do this one for more just attraction, why we are actually attracted to each other. So the basic thing is like, if you can meet your needs, comes down to it, like it can meet other people's needs. I will do a video too later on, specifically like safety needs, because it's a huge issue right now, especially with men not being safe, and that's a big issue. The individualism right now makes both men and women psychologically unsafe for people, for each other, and for themselves. But there's a big issue with physical safety right now with men, especially. And so I'll do a video on that, but that's again a human need. So if you want to have a whole bunch of people knocking down your door because you're attractive, get good at meeting safety needs, especially guys, the physical safety needs, and women and guys, the psychological safety needs. Okay. I'll do videos on those and you'll go into more depth in those. But yeah, you gotta get good at meeting needs, and then you'll have people standing in line at your door. um, and I mean, I'm not making promises or anything, but that's just what I figured out. I've read a lot of the books and stuff on all that, self-help things and how to be attractive and stuff, and most of them are full of crap because they're just telling you to not be authentic. But if you're meeting needs, if you're able to provide your own needs and for needs of others, guess what? You get to be yourself still to do that. Especially once you get into the psychological needs, you have to be authentic in order to meet your own emotional and psychological needs. Okay, you have to know what you like. You have to know yourself. You have to know what your boundaries are. You have to know what you'll put up with, what you won't. You have to know what your weaknesses and strengths are. Okay, you have to know yourself, and once you do that, your ability to meet your psychological needs becomes just second nature. Like, you just do it all the time, and then you do it for other people because you don't even have to think about it because you get so good at it. So yeah, just something to think about, something to consider. You don't have to meet every single need. The more you're able to do, the more attractive you are. But maybe you can't meet your physical health needs to the extent that you want to, and that's okay. We can't meet every single need. We need other people in our lives to help sometimes, or all the time, really, to meet needs, because none of us can meet our needs all by ourselves. Okay, that's that delusion. Being independent in society, we don't meet our needs all by ourselves. Doesn't matter if you have a whole bunch of money. you're still dependent on other people to meet your needs. You're just using that money to exchange needs, okay? But you can't use money to exchange the psychological needs. You have to do the work to get good at it. You have to do the work to be psychologically safe for other people. A lot of us are taught how to be unsafe growing up, physically and psychologically. We learn habits and behaviors that aren't healthy for and don't meet people's needs. They do quite the opposite. And so we have to relearn some things sometimes. So doing that work is far worth it though, because we're in the loneliness epidemic right now. And people are very lonely because they can't relate to one another. They don't have the social skills to go talk to one another. We don't have the ability to have empathy or to meet all of those like psychological needs that we have. But if you develop that skill, you're gonna have people all over like looking, because everybody's looking for that, right? Everybody wants people who can meet their needs and other people's needs. But right now we're just not good at it. So, and all you have to do to get good at something is practice. Just practice 30 minutes a day. Be like, all right, what need am I going to try to get better at meeting today? Do it for 30 minutes. I mean, if you can only do it 10 minutes, do it for 10 minutes. But if you can do it for 2 hours, do it for 2 hours. So give it a try. I've already done this. I know how it works. So I don't really ask for feedback or anything on my videos. These are videos done on things that I have discovered and know already. So you can leave comments though if you feel urged to do so. I don't care about the likes or whatever. This is just for you guys' information. You can subscribe. I think that's a thing on YouTube and stuff. I think it helps other people see the videos too. So do that because I do want people to see these videos so they can start thinking about some stuff and improving their lives and being happier living. We can all live better, happier lives if we have better information that is accurate and we can learn to critically think about it. So I will do more videos. This one is starting to run long. I don't want to usually go over more than 10 minutes because we don't have the attention span, I guess, for it nowadays. So I'll try to keep them short, but this one I wanted to do and elaborate on a bit, and I'll do more on this topic as well. So alrighty, y'all, take care and have fun. Be kind.